Before we rush into how you can earn from a recession, first the understanding of what a recession has to be fully established. Most recently, the economy has been going well, and products and services have been selling better and faster than ever before. Even companies and firms have been growing at extreme speed, but at the same time, the world is quite unstable, and things are starting to unfold. A recession is measured by GDP, which is the acronym for Gross Domestic Product. We know that this might sound a bit boring, but the GDP is the total amount of all value made in an economy. For instance, if you were to purchase a Mercedes car from a dealer, that would contribute to the gross domestic product. Now, if that goes down for over 6 months, then a recession has officially begun. Before the last huge recession back in 2008, some folks saw these signs early on and knew that there was something big waiting for them as long as they could complete the challenges that stood in their way. These days, however, the mission remains the same as long as you can set yourself up for the same level of success by following these steps, no matter who you are or where you come from. The first challenge you'd encounter is the stock market. During the 2008 recession, people needed to figure out a way to outsmart the stock market, and this is equally important for you to do today. Stocks have to be one of the easiest things to be invested in, mostly because it needs very little time and effort to get started, but the upside potential is enormous. They don't teach this in schools, and a lot of folks don't know this, but if an individual with an average salary invests 10% of it in the right way every month, that individual is almost guaranteed to become a millionaire in due time. So the question arises, is this the right time to buy stocks, or is it better to wait due to the uncertain times ahead? The sad thing is about this is most folks don't even get started at all because they view the stock market as a joint for the rich to only get richer and too complicated, complex and confusing for the average person. Sadly, for the few folks that actually gather up the courage to start investing in the stock market, most folks only do so when everything is going great and eventually lose interest, or even worse, they sell all of their stocks the second things take an unexpected turn for the worst. This move only leaves them trying to time the stock market for the best possible point of re-entry, which probably isn't going to come up anytime soon. In as much as the stock market is about strategy, it's also about psychology. A dip is proven to be the best entry point into the stock market, but the most difficult to get excited about. It's quite understandable how demoralizing watching prizes got from the money invested every month go down. It just feels like the money is being wasted and no progress is made. But it's all about thinking of the long-term benefits. Going back to the year 2008, some folks started their business from scratch and it was going somewhere and gaining real traction and providing a nice life for them and their family. And maybe a person or two would have told them how frugal they spent and how they should have spent more, judging by how much they earned, not knowing that it was all part of the plan. They knew that a recession was on its way and that a market crash would also be right around the corner. These people might have experienced previous recessions or seen what their parents faced in previous recessions, so they didn't want themselves and their loved ones to go through the same. It's understandable. So while their businesses were booming, their products getting off the shelves and their income looking like it will never cease, saving up their money and getting ready to deploy. Many people didn't understand this back then and might have even advised them to invest in different stocks that were released every other week that were supposed to be the next big thing. You might have heard the popular saying, cash is trash, and it might be right, but not in a recession, of course. It might be extremely hard for you to not invest in the stocks everyone says is the next big thing, but we promise you that in the long run, you'll see that you made the right decision. Now, we're not claiming to be financial fortune tellers, but we do know a thing or two on the topic. Let it be known that the United States stock market has always recovered after a crash, and declining stocks don't always mean a recession is imminent. And a recession doesn't always mean that there's a crash in the stock market. So knowing all these things, it's not the smartest idea to sell your stocks when a recession hits, but it is a great idea to buy more stocks. For this strategy, using the 90-10 formula is a good idea. It might not be the most recent idea, but it can still be used today. The 90 refers to 90% of your stock market budget allocated to ETFs and index funds. These require very little thought as they spread your money between several different companies without you having to lift a finger. The 10 refers to the remaining 10% of your stock market budget that's allocated to more risky long-term pay, like investing in small undervalued companies and firms. If there's one thing we know, is that the stock market can only trade at an unrealistic price for so long, be it high or low. meaning if the stock is undervalued, it will later rise to its true value. And the same rule applies for overvalued stocks. Now that we've gotten past the wall of investment, let's head on to the next big challenge: getting rich fast through business. When we use the word business, a lot of folks believe it sounds like way too much work. However, we're not here to tell you it's easy either. But when 47% of millionaires in the world today are business owners, it's clear that it is a way to become rich fast. These days, you don't even have to commit to beginning a fully fledged business when there are a bunch of opportunities waiting for you online. These are well known as side hustles. It's basically just a fancy way to say a small business that's run as a project by the side in your spare time, while still working your normal job. A side hustle gives you stability and also a larger income potential. One thing you could do in your spare time is invest in cryptocurrency. It's, however, very important to find an app that offers you the best prices. The absolute truth is that during a recession, those that have planned and saved more money, like you, have way more power than others. During a recession, your power to negotiate gets high. For every business or side hustle, there are suppliers, so this could be a great opportunity to renegotiate your prices and equally increase your margin. To be clear, a margin is basically the difference between what you pay for a product and what you sell it for. That's your profit. Another good way to create more margin is to increase the prices of goods and services. One important thing that anyone who wishes to start a business or side hustle should know is that it's quite easy to give away products, but it takes skill to run a successful and profitable organization. So if you can reduce your costs while increasing your prices, you're on your way to earning a good income. Once you've gotten through the first two challenges, you'll be in a very good place financially, and the next best step to take is to invest in real estate. A lot of folks always say it's too hard to find good deals, which is the truth a majority of the time, but not in a recession. A recession does two things. First, it places pressure on the sellers, as they may have lost their source of income, meaning they could be finding it harder to pay their mortgage and are being forced to sell the property. Second, it reduces the number of buyers, as most people didn't prepare for a recession like you did, and therefore have no money and a low credit score. These two factors switch the market from a seller's market to a buyer's market. If you could find a property off market, that's even better, as you get to cut out the agent fees and equally have less competition. Even if you don't have money in these times, you could still make cool cash from deal sourcing and flipping houses. What a great time to be alive. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.